Hi everyone, welcome back to the Speak Up podcast. And in today's episode, I have my friend Leia.
Hi!
Hi Leia, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. Yay! Before we get started into our topic, could you just share a little bit of who you are and about yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Leia. I did an Instagram Live with Locals Fest before, for anyone that watched it. I have my own little side business called Love and Lay. And yeah, dedicated fashion person.
Yeah! Yay. Do you want to share a bit more about Love and Lay as well?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So basically, Love and Lay is just a sustainable fashion business.
Mm-hmm.
I sell all my pre-loved clothing that I've honestly only worn a couple of times. Eventually, one day, I do want to have my own clothing business, and it'll be labeled under Love and Lay as well. But for now, I'm just selling all my, pre-loved clothing, still in great condition, and trying to keep to sustainable fashion and help out in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's so important because not everyone's so into fast fashion. I feel like we were talking about this in your segment, but so many people are into fast fashion, and it's hard to not buy non-fast fashion because it's so expensive, right?
No, it really is.
Sustainable clothing.
I feel like in general too, for me, I really want to start committing to sustainable fashion and learning how to be better in that area.
Yeah.
But for example, for me, the small ways that I started off was I don't shop online anymore. So I don't buy from, for example, Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Thing, Misguided. I stopped shopping from them for probably about 4 months now.
Yeah.
And I feel like online shopping is so deadly because it's so addicting, right?
Yeah.
So I cut off all the online stores, and then I'm trying to start shopping less from fast fashion and stores in the malls and stuff like that, right? I feel like Forever 21 was a really big one. Now it's not in Canada. But
it's not anywhere, is it?
I think they have some in the States.
Oh, okay.
But I'm starting to do my research on places more often now too. When I shop from somewhere, I try to see where the clothes come from. But it is really hard. I still shop from for example, Zara.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Or H&M kind of thing.
I shop from there. I don't shop from Forever 21 or the online stores anymore. But even so, it is hard to completely cut it off. But I think just beginning it and knowing where your clothes come from is a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, little segue, but I guess we'll go into our topic. So our topic today is we're going to be chatting about therapy. Maybe can you tell us how you got started going to therapy? Yeah, and maybe your journey
From the beginning.
So
So basically at the beginning of the year, honestly 2020, the first week of 2020, I was having a really, really hard time at my job. And I feel like I'm a very sensitive person, right? And when it comes to work, I'm very particular in how things are and how I follow direction. And I feel like at the time I was really hard on myself in terms of learning and my mistakes, and I was not good with what's it called?
Criticism?
Feedback. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Constructive criticism. I'm not good at feedback. At the time I wasn't good at feedback.
Yeah.
So I feel like that person at the beginning of the year was just very lost, and I was going through a lot, and I ended up overdosing.
Oh my
and
gosh, yeah.
trying to commit suicide. Yeah, so during that time, literally 2020 just started too, right? So I was like, I'm gonna have a great year, and then all that happened. So of course, rushed to the hospital, all that happened, and I had to go into group therapy. So I was offered to do one-on-one therapy, but I feel like I'd be too awkward just to sit in there with that one person. So I did group therapy, and yeah, it was very life-changing. It's not how it is in the movies, how you know what I mean? It was a really great experience though, and I definitely if it comes up to you as an option, I definitely think that people should take it. It's a really great learning experience. The people were amazing. I got so much material out of it too. I felt like school in a way.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What would Like, so was it an option given to you because of your overdose? Like, the doctors gave that option?
Yeah.
Or? Oh.
So I had to do it, right? Like, it was like a must-have. Like, I had
like
to
you
do
didn't
it.
really have...
I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And at the time when I first started, like, I was like, this is... Like, I did think it was stupid. Just because I was like, I'm going to be sitting in a room with people in a classroom talking about how I feel.
Yeah.
And that's just my honest opinion. I did think it was kind of like I didn't want to do it, but also a part of me I think was also very shy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm glad I went through with it. The people that I've met, and I still like talk to a few of them sometimes too. And the material that I got, like I still have it in a binder, and I still refer to everything that I've learned from time to time. So
wow,
yeah, it was really great. If I could do it again, I definitely would.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that you chose group therapy over like one-on-one, because I feel like a lot of people
would choose one-on-one.
Yeah, would choose one-on-one because they would rather not speak to a group of people about it,
especially if it's strangers, right?
Yeah.
So
how did it work? Like,
so basically, it was at a hospital, and you're basically just in a certain group therapy. So I was in PHP, that is partial hospitalization program, because I was there for half the day. So I was there. It was literally like 9 to 3 or something like that. Yeah. So I was there for half the day, Monday to Friday.
Oh, so you would go there?
Yeah, and I was there for 2 months.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so I was really, really like dedicated to it, and I loved it. At one point, it was like I hated waking up in the morning, and it felt like school. But then I realized like this is my life, right? Like I'm going there to learn more about who I am and what happened and what's going on in my head. And also during that time, I was also diagnosed with generalized anxiety and with BPD, so borderline personality disorder.
Oh, yeah.
So the good thing about that, which is really weird to say the good thing, but the other people in the group therapy also had the same thing as me. So it was nice to at least have that thing in common, right? Like, I don't know if anybody else in that room also tried to commit suicide at one point or not, but we were all there together in that one program. So, and other people there were also my age or older. So yeah, they were really sweet. They were really nice. Yeah.
Do you think like before you were diagnosed, did you realize that you like could have had that diagnosis? If that makes sense. Yeah.
Diagnosis. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I think for a while I knew that there was something emotionally wrong with me, just because I was like, so BPD, it sounds worse than it actually is, because as soon as you hear personality disorder, people think like, oh, like she has like 5 different personalities, but no, it's borderline personality disorder is basically someone who's very inclined with their emotions and is very hypersensitive. So my emotions tend to like, it's like a light switch. Like I can go from being super happy to being extremely sad and depressed to being extremely angry. Like my emotions are very high, and then they could be very low. So it's not actually like I have 5 different personalities. No, like I'm just very inclined with my emotions and very attuned with them, and sometimes it's just all over the place, right? So I feel like a lot of people don't realize it, but they could have BPD as well because their emotions are racing all the time. And as soon as I figured out that I had it, though, it made sense, because I went through so much in the past, and leading up to where I am now, like it makes sense.
Yeah, it helped
like
you
I
understand yourself.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, no, like the more I learned about BPD, it made me realize more about myself, and even like my family read up on it, and like we have books based on it. So yeah, you have to educate yourself on these things, right? So that was a good thing for me to learn about.
Yeah. Oh. Could you tell us like how your parents reacted to you going to therapy? I guess like your family.
I feel like so my family. Okay, so obviously they were a little worried for me. They were a little worried for me. They were very nervous for me too. But at the end of the day, like they were very happy to see that I'd be coming home with worksheets all about myself, and I'd be journaling, and I would be doing daily goals, and they liked to see the feedback that was coming from the work and what I was getting out of it. Even so, like after I ended therapy, so I ended it in April, and I was there for 2 months. My mom and my dad and my sister, they all said that they've seen a really big change in me, which is weird because I personally don't see it. Like,
Yeah.
I guess I can say that I am a lot more calm than I used to be because I had anxiety, right? Like, really bad anxiety. I still have it, but I know how to control it. But they think that I've actually, like, matured, I guess, and they think that I'm more in control of my feelings, and they think I'm more rational. And they think I'm, like, they think that I think more. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, they've seen
really
the
progression with it.
Yeah, they were really happy for me, and that's really great because I needed that. Like, I needed that support because I at first I didn't want to go, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It must have been, like, really hard because I feel like there's so much stigma behind, like, the word therapy that people think, like, so many different things about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So, yeah, I don't know. Did you feel comfortable telling people that you were going to therapy when you were doing it, or?
I had to take a leave from work, and, like, I didn't tell them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I just told them, like, I had a personal thing going on, but I didn't tell them about it.
Right, yeah.
I did tell, like, obviously, like, my close family and friends.
Like your boyfriend.
Yeah, my boyfriend was,
that.
like, my biggest support system at the time, too. But, yeah, no, like, it was... At first, it was something that I just wanted to keep it to myself because I didn't even really understand what I was going through, right?
Yeah,
so me going into therapy and then other people knowing about, like, I didn't know what to tell them. It's not that I didn't want to talk about it because I feel like I definitely can now, but I didn't know how to explain it to other people when I didn't even understand what was going in my head, right?
Yeah.
It was confusing.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be confusing, like, for anybody that goes into group therapy or any therapy. I feel like it'll be very confusing at first, and you'll feel very nervous and anxious, but I feel like the more you settle in and the more you learn, you'll feel a lot better. Because the thing is, you're not there for anybody else, you're there for you.
Yeah.
So you have to wake up and you have to go because you're doing it for you.
You're showing up for yourself.
Yeah, they're not forcing you to be there.
Oh, wow. So it was your own. It was everyone who was there. It was their own decision to be there.
And, like, it's something that you have to do for yourself, and only you can do it, right? Like, if I didn't want to go, but my parents made me, I wouldn't have to go if I didn't want to, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I showed up for myself, and I took the initiative.
Yay. I'm so happy for you, Leia.
Thank you.
Would you have any other, like, resources of therapy if someone, like, wanted to go and do, like, a group one instead of, like, a one-on-one?
I know definitely that there are resources online.
Yeah.
You can definitely go to also, like, your local hospital as well. Because I didn't know.
Oh,
like,
wow.
My therapy actually took place inside of a hospital, right? There was a mental health department.
Right.
Mental health department.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in that area of the hospital, like, there was a lot of resources that you can get. And, like, there's so many things. But also... I don't recommend looking online. Like, I feel like you should start with going to a hospital and seeing what they can offer. Because I feel like if you look online, some stuff isn't legit. Some stuff is also, like it's just a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know that
Is it covered with OHIP?
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. So
wow.
I was going to say, like, I was about to mention that, like, OHIP did cover mine, and it was for free. But
yeah,
I feel like... Don't look... Because I remember I tried looking online as well.
Yeah.
And I remember there was, like, this... Oh, like, you have a online therapy. Like, you can call and text anytime or even email, but it's $120 every 2 weeks. And I'm like, what? Yeah. Girl, what? No.
Yeah.
So I think start with your hospital. If you have anybody that works in the hospital, then definitely ask them too. But I think they definitely should do that first instead of looking online. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, to pay that much, that's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like for so long, like, I've been trying to figure out my own head as well. Yeah. But I've never taken the jump to actually take therapy for myself. But I know it's something, like, that I feel like I have to do for myself. Yeah. So I've always been asking, like, people who take it, like, where do they recommend, I guess. But yeah, like, that's a great resource too. And
even in therapy, so they gave us these skills to basically just have every day.
Wow, yeah.
And it's a list that I keep on my phone, and I keep copies of it at my desk, my cubicle at work. I have a copy of it. So it's basically just coping skills.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely recommend having your own list of coping skills too. For example, like, we were taught a lot about mindfulness. I feel like I've gotten better at being mindful. So being mindful about your surroundings, your emotions, how you react, how people talk to you, right? Because those things are all triggers to your mental health.
Yeah.
And I feel like for the longest time, I didn't realize that mental health, obviously it affects you, it affects your everyday.
Yeah.
But it also affects the people that love you. So
Yeah.
mental health isn't just you in your head, it's also your surroundings, right? Like I didn't realize that
it's so true.
My hurting also hurt my parents and my boyfriend and my sister. So you really need to take in these things when you go into therapy, because of course you're there for you, but the people that love you want you to be there too and to get better, right?
Yeah. I think that because something like that happened to me, like I was just not in a good headspace, and then it was affecting like my relationship with my boyfriend, but I didn't realize it was because I was just like so into my head that I didn't see how it was like reflecting onto like reality.
100%. Yeah,
right?
You never see how much it affects other people, because you're really to yourself and in your own head, and like when you're hurting, the people that love you hurt too. And this can go for family, can go for friends, it can go for anyone.
Yeah.
Even pets can tell when you're hurt and sad, right?
Yeah. Do you have a pet?
No, I don't, but my sister has a dog.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay,
one time she told me when she was sad, her dog, like, and she was, like, kind of, like, crying, her dog went up to her and was, like, comforting her.
Oh.
Like, pets can tell, too, when you're sad.
Yeah. Wow. That's so true. Did you, like, before 2020 started, did you ever feel, like, those feelings before that as well?
I definitely did. Like, in high school, I had a really hard time. My parents separated really young, so I feel like in high school also I just had a lot of rough stuff going on. But I didn't realize how much, trauma has really affected me. Like, I'm 23-year-old now.
Yeah.
And there's, like, so much that I've gone through in the past, and I never had therapy back then. So I was like, wow, I went through a lot when I was younger, right? You never realize.
You don't,
until you're older. So I definitely realized that, like, damn, like, there definitely is something emotionally wrong with me. There's definitely something off. And I, like, even so, like, I wanted to, like, get checked on it too, but I felt like I didn't want to reach out to anyone to help me.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I feel like it's, like, scary. Also, I feel like when we were in high school, we didn't have accessible resources.
For sure.
Like, we're not educated about mental health.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that. There isn't a subject that teaches you on how to love yourself. There isn't a subject on, like, signs of depression or preventing suicide. Like, there isn't anything like that. And I feel like that's such a sad thing, because it happens to people when they're so young. Like, I used to have these thoughts when I was, like, in grade 12, right?
Yeah.
In grade 11. And, like, I have younger siblings too, so thinking of the fact that they could think those thoughts just makes me want to work harder at being a better sister and being better at supporting the people that I love, because I would never want my younger siblings to feel that way, or anyone to feel that way.
Yeah. But I think, like, the fact that it's not talked about in school, and, like, maybe now that since technology has expanded so much, we have so many more, like, resources.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, but back in the day, we didn't have, like, online therapy,
Like, we have, like, school counselors.
Yeah,
but that's not
enough,
not
really.
Right?
Yeah. But also, they would be part of the problem, too, because they would bring you down, like, oh, your grades are really bad, you can't get into college kind of thing.
Yes, 100%.
I've
been told that.
Like, yeah, same.
I have been told that.
And they're like, oh, what happened here? I don't know if you should apply to that program because, like, this and that, right? So, I
remember
know.
having, like, I used to have, like, university level and college level classes, and they'd be like, no, you can't do that. You can only stay in college.
Right?
And I'm like, but you didn't even let me try.
Yeah.
Like, what?
But, like, going back to you talking about trauma, like, when we're kids, we experience so much trauma, and we don't really, like, relieve it or talk about it. And then when you go in high school, you obviously go through a lot of trauma with, like,
and you're so
bullying,
young.
peer pressure.
The thing that made me realize like, in grade 11, grade 12, like, I was feeling suicidal, but I was also, it's like 17, 18, right? And, like, I was so young. I didn't even live my life fully yet. Like, now that I'm 23 and thinking of all the things I've accomplished, like, I've done Locals Festival, I've done this beautiful podcast, I've opened up my own little shop. I only had it for 2 months, but I love it. I'm an older sister. I'm best friends with my older sister. I have younger siblings to look after too. Like, I'm best friends with my parents. I met a really great person, and I'm dating them, right? Like, I'm lucky to have met such a great person. Yeah. But, like, there's so much to accomplish in life and so much to experience. That's why, like, whenever I think of anyone so young experiencing suicidal thoughts, I get so sad because you have so much to look forward to. Mm-hmm. Like, even now, like, we're so young still. We're only in our 20s. We have so much to experience. Like, there's so much out there to live for. And, like, I wish I could tell my younger self that. Even at the beginning of the year when I attempted, like, I wish I could tell myself, like, 2020 may be, like, a really bad year. There's so much that's going to happen, but you're going to get through it. Yeah. And that's what you have to remind yourself.
It's
you
true.
have to.
Yeah. I think it's, like, when you get so, like, deep in those bad thoughts though, that it's like it's hard to speak good to yourself when 100%. You're like, you know, when you're feeling that way,
especially when you're so low. Like, it's really hard to get yourself out of that funk.
Oh my god, because
I feel like the number one thing I could take away from therapy, and to tell anyone who's listening right now, like, you need to really realize, like, where you are today, you're going to be in another better place tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, yesterday doesn't count for today. You have to think about tomorrow and how you're going to be in the next days and the years going by. Like, there's so much to live for. Mm-hmm. Life is so temporary. Yeah. And you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's true, though. And when did your therapy end in...
So I started March. I actually started at the end of February, and then I ended, like, mid-April.
Oh, okay. So you're doing it during quarantine, too.
Yeah. Wow. So it was really... at first, we were in class, and then quarantine happened in April, and then we had to do it over the phone. So it was a little hard because it's not the same over the phone. Yeah. But
it was group therapy over the phone?
No, it was just one-on-one.
Oh, it was one-on-one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't really feel like therapy. I felt like I was talking to a friend at one point.
Yeah.
But, like I said before, like, in quarantine, I still kept to my skills. I tried to teach myself more about mindfulness and how to control my anxiety and what to do when I'm super anxious and all that stuff.
Yeah. Did they teach you about, like, meditating and everything, too, in therapy?
So I feel like when people think of mindfulness, they think, like, meditation and yoga.
Yeah,
definitely.
Right? Those
it's a great way to calm you down, but mindfulness goes so much more beyond that. Like, mindfulness could be... For example, for me, I like to read when I'm on the subway, but I also like to listen to music at the same time. Mm-hmm. So people think that's, like, weird, because why would you listen to music and read? Mm-hmm. But to me, that's mindfulness, because that's my own space. That's my own time to be concentrated on something and to focus. Mm-hmm. So the number one thing I will always remember about mindfulness is to always focus on one thing in the moment. So, for example, whether it's you laying down, focusing on your breathing, or doing a muscle relaxation thing, or pace breathing when you're really anxious, stuff like that. Like, it could be either you painting or drawing or anything like that, I think is mindfulness.
Wow,
there's so many ways to be mindful.
Yeah, because I feel like mindfulness is a word that's been, like, going around lately, and I don't think a lot of people really know what it is. They're just like, oh, okay, like,
like, mindfulness is everywhere. You just have to realize what it is, right? Like, everyone has their own way of being mindful. Mindfulness could be driving, paying attention to everything you see, being I know when you're driving you have to be aware, but sometimes you're not aware. Sometimes you're so used to just driving and going down the road that you don't realize the things around you.
Yeah, because you're so used to that same path.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that. Yeah,
mindfulness is literally, like, anything. It's describing anything you see, hearing what you see. It comes in many ways.
Awesome. So is that mindfulness is one of the coping mechanisms that they suggested?
Yeah.
What are the other ones, if you can, like, name a couple?
So mindfulness. Okay, so we have mindfulness skills. Yeah. We have emotion regulation skills. So basically just regulating your emotions, knowing how you feel, describing how you feel. We have distress tolerance skills. So learning how to cope when you're in distress. Managing anxiety, I said before. And there's also ways of interpersonal effectiveness skills. So learning how to cope between two other people, learning how to talk to other people, learning how to react to what people say. So, for example, constructive criticism, like what happened to me in the beginning of the year. I didn't know how to take constructive criticism, and I thought right away that if I made a mistake, that I'm considered to be stupid, which obviously isn't true. Like, if my friend told me, oh, I made a mistake, I'm stupid, I would be like, no, you're not. You're learning, right?
Yeah.
So it's things like that. People should definitely read on these things as well, because it's things that we can keep in mind every day. Like, learning how to take constructive criticism is such a big thing in life.
Oh my gosh, yeah, for sure.
You have to learn how to take feedback from people in order to grow, right?
Yeah. I definitely can like relate to like feeling stupid if you have restrictions.
When you're hard on yourself, right? Like, even like my family, like they're very hard on themselves too when they make mistakes, but you have to realize like it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
right?
and it's true. Like, you are always learning, so you're always gonna be making mistakes, right?
And like sometimes we don't even realize. Like, for example, I was making craft dinner the other day, and my water like boiled to the top, and it went everywhere. I was like, shoot. And I just looked at it, and I just like, okay, I'll just start over. But then when I'm at work and I make a mistake, I'm so mad at myself. But you know what I mean? Like, I made a mistake cooking. I got over it in that second. But when I'm at work, I don't get over it.
Is it like the environment?
I feel like it's not even the environment. I think it's just me, right? Like, there's times where I make mistakes and I get over it right away, and then there's times where I'm clinging onto it. Yeah. But I feel like that's just me. Like, I feel like there's memes, you know, those ones where they're like, when you lay down at night and just think about what you said 7 years ago.
Yeah, that's so me.
7 years ago, you thought about what you said in that moment in time.
Right? Oh my gosh. But then I feel like there's a lot of people who don't do that too. Yeah. So, I don't know. Does it make you like a good person that you're thinking about things that like you feel bad about, and you're just like, oh, I don't know. I'm just rambling now. I think that just shows that you just care. Right? Like, you're just a caring person, right?
Even back in high school, like, I would tell someone something, and I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. Right? And I realized, like, who cares? Yeah. If they feel hurt, they can tell me they feel hurt. Right. But, like, I feel like it's not a bad thing, and I used to think it was a bad thing, but it just made me realize, like, I care a lot about people, and that's not a bad thing. I care a lot about how people feel, and that's just how I am. I'm very loving, I guess. Yeah,
I get it. Yeah, it's true. So, Leia, before we end the episode, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
So I guess the number one thing I just wanted to say and to leave off at would be, I know this has been said everywhere on social media and you can hear it from all your peers, but if you are going through something, please reach out. It doesn't matter who it is, but you are not alone. You can reach out to me. I'll talk to you. But I feel like when I was going through what I went through, right, like, I have my boyfriend, I have my best friends, I have my family, but I felt so alone at the time, and I didn't realize that, like, if I reached out, then I wouldn't have been at the hospital trying to clear from my overdose, right? Life's too short, and I feel like everyone is very precious in their own way, and everyone is so different, which is, like, you have so much to live for, and I want you to remember that, whoever's listening to this. But yeah, if you're going through something, please reach out. It doesn't matter if it's a big thing or a small thing. If you need to talk about it, then you should talk about it, but never keep it in, and I never want anyone to ever have those thoughts that I went through. That was a really dark time for me, and I never want anyone to experience that.
Thank you so much. I'm crying. Sorry. I know. Don't look at me. Thank you so much, Leia. My lashes don't come off. Did you want to share like ways that we can support you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So you guys can follow me on my Instagram. So it's LeiaXVictoria. I'm definitely going to be tagged, so just find the tag. Yeah. I also have my little shop called Love and Lay, where I sell all my pre-loved clothing. And yeah, follow me on there.
Thank you so much, Leia.
Thanh you so much for having me. Oh
honestly, like, you dropped us like so much good information and so much good facts. It really touched me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, just you saying that our like life is so temporary and that we need to just show up for ourselves. Like, all the messages that you like shared with us throughout this podcast is just, thank you.
Of course. Yeah. Like, there's so many factors that relate to therapy, and I'm glad I could talk about it, because you don't get to hear about it every day, right? So
for sure.
I'm glad I could share some of my knowledge, some of my info.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for listening, you guys.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.